Welcome to All Things Retreat Podcast. I'm Holly Porter, your host and CEO of Retreat R&R. With over 25 years of experience in designing transformative retreats, I'm here to share insights and inspiration to help you create extraordinary experiences. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, you'll find valuable ideas here. Enjoy the ride. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. We're going to be talking about a couple fun things with a friend of mine who has also been a business colleague and sometimes mentor, and whatever we want to insert there, she's probably been inserted into my life. So Sharon Hess is a private advisor to entrepreneurs and business leaders, helping them see what's hidden in plain sight. After 40 years alongside founders navigating growth and complexity, she uncovers unseen assumptions and hidden friction so leaders can simplify decisions. I lost my spot.
It's a mouthful.
And unlock predictable revenue and momentum. So there you go.
Simply, I help you see what you can't see for yourself.
I was reading it and I went to make it bigger and then it disappeared. And I was like, oh, I should have waited, but I've been wearing those dang glasses at everything anymore. It's like, can't read as well as I used to. But thanks for being on the show today, Sharon. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. You're not great?
Actually, I'm fabulous. So I tell people, because if I get to choose, I'm going to choose fabulous. Why not?
We always get to choose.
We do get to choose.
It's all a decision. So I love that.
Yep.
Okay. I'm fabulous too then. Even if it's a Monday while we're recording. So Sharon, you've been part of the International Retreat Association since the beginning. So thank you. And
you're welcome.
You're a smart woman. You're an early adopter and you're a smart woman. So of course you're going to come be part of it. But no, I've loved having you, and you've been coming to our universal law classes. So it's interesting. I know Sharon does a lot of things with intuitive work, so she understands this, and we've had many, many conversations around it. But this was one of the things that was an intuitive hit for me when I was just thinking, like, what could I do that would help, like, generate something we could do weekly right now so that people can see, like, what kind of value we're bringing to them. And I always wanted to teach the 12 laws. I know there's more laws than that, but I had to pick 12. That's what our head was telling me. My head was telling me. And so I called it 12-week Retreat Leader Roundtable Universal Laws Live. Super long name. But that's what we've been doing. We're like almost halfway through. What have you thought about it, Sharon?
So the wonderful thing about it, and anybody who's watching this, it's not just like you pop on there and somebody's going to, like preach to you for an hour, because it's not it at all. The great thing is, like, at the beginning, we all meet each other, tell each other what we do, have the teaching part, and then we talk about our understanding about it. And people actually share experiences and how it really affects them, their business, their life, their retreats. Because, it's all the same thing bundled up. And then, it's just a wonderful, it's kind of like networking on steroids.
Yeah.
So it's not really, it's kind of like its own thing that you created, Holly. And I think it's wonderful. It's a wonderful, meet, learn, and then discuss. It's a perfect way to do it. And I love it. I love showing up for it.
Yeah. And we keep it an hour. The classes only go anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes of content. Yeah. And that's all we record. And so if you don't show up, you don't even get the recordings even of the class, because I want people to show up. It's about meeting other people and building this community and networking. But we do record those and put those for the members.
But I will say this too. It's also, it's kind of like, it's like at your, you can go ahead and look at the recording of the class, but you're kind of like rewarded for showing up because you get to meet the other people and you get to sit in that energy of people who are doing things and kind of like have a similar mindset as you. And it's always a wonderful thing to sit in that energy. So I do appreciate the fact that you don't get all of that in the recording, because it's a reward for showing up. So show up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can talk about anything and it's kept confidential and it's not on a recording. So it's
Yeah.
been, yeah, I feel like, I mean, we have not had like hundreds of people show up or anything like that, which is good because if we were doing that, I was going to end up going out and breakout sessions, but we kept it pretty intimate. Some weeks there's a lot and some weeks there's a handful. So we just take what we get and who comes is supposed to and have a great
It's, the
conversation.
universe is in charge of it anyway, right?
That's right. And we're about halfway through the 12 weeks. So this week is our 6th week no, it's actually our 5th. So what I did was in the newsletter comes out the blog about it and we talk about it. And then a week later we do the class because I want people to have time to go through and see the newsletter and read a little bit about it before they come. Whether or
Right.
not they are is up to them, but that's kind of like so it's a little bit off. So we do last week's newsletter at this week's class, even though the newsletter
Right.
came out with a new one. That'll be next week. So I think it's worked out really well, and we appreciate it. But I know let's talk a little bit about your business, Sharon. Let's talk about a little bit about who you serve and what you do. I
Okay.
mean, I
So,
know.
yeah, like I said, basically, I help people see what they can't see for themselves. It's like, so I'm a Course in Miracles gal, which means I started studying A Course in Miracles 30 something in 1997. So however long that was, is that 30 years? Close to 30 years, close
Don't
to
make
40
me do
years.
math. It's Monday.
I don't know, but anyway, everything is kind of like based on those principles.
Yeah.
So I had the big spiritual side, and I did intuitive money healing for a while, and I look at Akashic records, and I do energy work, and I paint angels and everything. But aside from that, I'm really good at business. I have a really good grounded business mind. So I've helped people create $1 million businesses as a startup, but also as ancillary, like something within the business they're doing already. They want to bring in a new thing that they can make more money on it. But what I've seen from putting all of that together, all the different business, all the different spiritual, and then all of the different one-on-one work that I've done with people, what I noticed is that it's kind of like, the old saying about we are our own worst enemy, because what we do is like, we'll have a problem or something we want to solve, a solution we want to solve in our business. And so we decide this is what the problem is, and this is what I'm going to do about it. But because we're human beings, 9 times out of 10, we would choose the easiest thing and think that we're really solving the real problem when we're not. So what I do is help people kind of like go beyond that, kind of like give them the aha of what's really going on and what they really need to focus and pay attention to.
Yeah.
So it is kind of fun. It really is, because people are like, oh God, I never thought of it that way. So it's interesting to help people. It's kind of like a shift in your perception. But that's when your revenue changes, and that's when your business like really does more than it ever could in the past, because you're looking in the right place for where you need to be looking.
Yeah. Well, and we all have blind spots though. And I think that's
Of
why we need
course.
people like you that can kind of blow it open and say, hey, had you considered? I mean, we do. Everybody, when you're in it, you don't necessarily see it, no
No,
matter
you
what
don't.
level
You
you're
know,
at.
when that's also the old, you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're because you're looking at it, and you're also looking at it from, your perception,
Mhm.
what you see and what you understand. Someone outside of the situation can see something entirely different
Yeah.
because they're not involved. They don't have an emotional
Yeah.
attachment to it. Entrepreneurs are so emotionally attached. I laughed, and I say this all the
So
time.
true.
If you tell an entrepreneur something's wrong with their business, it's like saying your baby is ugly.
Yeah. Nobody wants to hear their
Because we're
baby's
emotionally
ugly.
attached. Although it's a business, we have these emotions attached. So I
Yeah.
kind of like help you by not telling you your baby's ugly, but telling you, your baby would look a lot prettier if you put a bow on the head and let people know it's a girl.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And not cut its hair short.
exactly, exactly.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
funny.
so that's the whole thing. It's like emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
um, that we all have, like you said, blind spots, but we also all have things that we just don't want to look at. And
Yeah.
I like to think I get people to look at it in a loving way. I'm very spiritual. I'm very, connected, but I'm also very practical. I'll never forget. I had one of my coworkers years ago. He said, he used to call me Ma. He used to say, Ma, you are a realistic optimist. And I said, I love that because I'm optimistic, but I'm also really realistic about what you can and can't do with it.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to put it.
So I would claim being a realistic optimist.
Well, it's so important. Everybody hears, oh, you should have a coach for this and you should have a coach for that. And I'm not anti-coach at all. I feel like I've had better luck in building masterminds than I have my coaches. I've always outgrown every coach I've ever had. And so I would lean more towards mentorship. And I think you just got to find what works for you and what's happening. But I've loved the mastermind piece of it. And I feel like we're getting a taste of that with building what we were just talking about, the universal law classes that we're having. I feel like a little bit more of that's happening because we actually have a subject we're working on, and then we're discussing it after, and then we're bringing up. I love all the stories people are telling and things that it's triggering.
Yeah, because when you tell a story or something that's practical within your own life or business, it makes it feel more real.
Yeah, it does.
Because theory, you can study business till you're blue in the face. You can have a master's degree in business, but until you're actually putting it into practice and seeing how it's actually working or not working, it doesn't mean a thing.
It's so true. I just been working the last month with a speaker trainer, one-on-one though. And we're just doing Zooms, but he has a specific program that he does. And I'm just mostly listening, but now we're at the end of it where I'm doing my presentation and I'm doing my intro. And it's like me, I love to have everything written out and bullet points and kind of like, I like crutches a little more than I should. And his is like, you don't practice in the mirror. You don't have notes. You have, your slides for your points with 3 things.
That surprises me though, because you're so good at thinking on your feet. I don't like
what I did today. That's what today was that. And I said, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm the biggest BSer across my forehead today. And anything I wasn't saying wasn't true. It was just, I had to think on my feet. And it was like, I'm giving this whole talk and it's my story and I'm telling these things, but on his format, and it was great. It was like, but now I feel like, but I still need to go practice that because he had a presentation.
Yeah. You can't practice being yourself. Okay. You're just yourself,
Yeah.
I don't like watching presentations where the person's reading and you can tell they're reading.
No.
It doesn't, that's just it's very uncomfortable to sit and watch that,
My biggest
what you said about, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what you said about coaching because I don't call myself a coach because it's more advising and helping you come to that realization of what it is you need to come to, right? A coach just, it's a different agenda, I would think.
So when I was doing my prosperity events, so this was happening 2018, 2019. So what probably was 2018, my very first prosperity event I did in Las Vegas every 6 months. I lost 177 slides. So basically it was a 2-day event and it was, I think, around midday.
Yeah. So that's a universal law behind that, I'm sure. All right. Because that was the universe saying you don't need it. You can do this without it. So bam, we're going to make them disappear. I wonder what
I was going to crap my pants. I'm telling you. And everybody was so great about it. And so many came up after and said, I think it ended up being better because of it. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't. But I'm such a visual person. By the second day, I think I was able to pull a few things together. So I had a few visuals, but as far as a lot of the things that were going on, it was just like, whoa, fly by the seat of your pants. Luckily I had the agenda written down and stuff, but it was just a big lesson. And I don't know what I had done. I don't know if I had created all these slides on one PowerPoint and then I had never closed it down. And I don't know, but when it was gone, it did not save. It was gone, nowhere to be found. Where now I have my Canva.
Like you say, so there's a lot of lessons in that, and there's a lot of like I said, it's probably the universe was saying you don't really need, and we need to learn to trust ourselves and trust our instincts, right? And like I said, you can think of, you're a smart woman. You can think on your feet. We all can. But we have this fear of imperfection. And I hate to tell you, we're all perfectly imperfect. We know that. I always tell people, you're perfect just the way you are, because you are. But yeah, it's like we just have this idea that these presentations have to be perfect. And, they don't.
No.
That's, like I said, that's why I love the way you're doing the round table for the universal laws, because meet people, kind of understand what your audience is, do the presentation, and then we talk about what we learned or didn't learn or still have questions about. That's the perfect way to do it, because a couple of years ago, everything was about authenticity. It's got to be authenticity. Now, some people kind of mistook that, and authenticity doesn't mean putting your shit out on the street for everybody to see. What it means is just showing up as who you are and being yourself, no matter where you are, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the great thing about the way you're doing the round table. I don't know if that idea just popped in your head or if you saw somebody else do it that way, you can, but I think it's a wonderful way to do it.
Yeah.
And so with the presentations, if you lose your slides, there was something telling you don't really need them.
Right.
But you don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't stand up and say, I'm going to do a 2-day event without slides. But what I do, when I do a PowerPoint, I don't, like there's a place on there that you can put like your script, and I don't do that. I just do that to keep me on track, because it's real easy for me, especially if I'm channeling stuff from above. I'll just go down these different avenues and forget where I was in the first place. What was my starting point? So
yeah, I have too many squirrel moments. So like when I'm specific about something, or I'm in a time limit, that I want to do it in, then it's like, it kind of keeps me on track, because my brain goes all over the place. But
yeah, that's what slides are for, is to keep you on track. That's it.
Yeah. And I'm visual. I mean, I like slides. When people say, oh, I hate talking with slides. And I thought, yeah, but you're not reading them. It's just helping. I feel people learn differently. And when you're a visual person,
sure, you have to have something visual. Yeah.
You need to touch all those teaching points, I feel like. So yeah, I think I did that same structure with my other company, Retreat R&R, when we were teaching some retreat things for retreat leaders.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
That up and so
it's a lot of fun. If y'all aren't coming, come.
Right. Yeah. Well, or if you want the classes, you have to be a member. That's right. Yeah. That's right. What else I've loved about the classes is some people that are pretty quiet in the beginning. If you notice how they come out of their shell after, when we really start the conversation, after we've talked, did you notice?
Like I said, it's the energy, because you're sitting in an energy that is safe. It feels, it kind of like opens you up. It's like healer energy is people will just tell you stuff and you're thinking, oh, why do they tell me that? But that's why. It's because they feel safe within that energy. Mm-hmm. And so the group that you're drawing is people that feel safe within that specific energy. And so therefore they're able to open up.
And I feel like they're really respectful too. Everyone's been really respectful of not over talking people or one upping them. I just feel like the energy of it. You're right. It's been
because you're right. Because sometimes when you get in a group like that, people who are very needy and need to be seen, their ego takes over, and they just go on and on and on and on, and the host has to kind of like cut them off. And I haven't seen that happen, which is a good thing.
I know it's a great group. Well, I love that part. I love that you've been able to come and join us. And I'm not the only one teaching. I'm teaching most of them just because I didn't arrange for other people to originally. And I was like, I don't have to teach all these. And so I'm keeping the slides, the same look and everything, but it's others are coming in and teaching different laws. So we had Law of Attraction last week with a guest speaker, and she's going to teach a law of what came after that, Law of Inspired Action, because it goes with Law of Attraction. So she's doing those 2 weeks. And then, so when you're watching this show, we probably already had those. And so if you want those classes, you have to become a member of the association.
That's right. And then you have it all, plus a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Not just that. That's just a very, very teeny tiny little perk that you get.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And then of course, we have these podcasts we bring out twice a week. So I think I think retreat leaders are starting to see that there is help out there, and that's the support we want to make sure that they're getting at any level as we grow. And I'm going to put, Sharon, all of your information in the show notes so that they'll be able to get your website and connect to you if they want to further conversation. Appreciate you coming and cheering me on and always being there for support for me. And you're one of our founding members. We only have 100 people, so when they're gone, they're gone. Internationalretreatassociation.com is where you can go check all this out. There's a membership page there and see how affordable it really is. And that was my goal. Keep it affordable for everybody.
It is. But you get, but the thing is, you get so much for your money. And I love the fact there's not an association that makes things consistent for people who do retreats and have anything to do with retreats. Okay. Yeah. You want consistency, because the more you do that, the more your industry becomes recognized as viable. So thank you for creating that.
Well, it wasn't from me. I got the idea from above. So it's definitely a calling, and it's been a while.
Thank you for being the messenger.
Somebody had to do it. Yeah, no, I love this industry, and I think it's so important, and it's so needed right now, and for what we're building in the future. So super excited to be part of that. Okay, everyone. So join us next week for our shows, and we're glad you came today. Hopefully you got to learn some things, and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you. All right, everyone. See you later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of All Things Retreat. We hope you're leaving with new ideas, fresh inspiration, and the motivation to take your retreats to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us grow and reach more retreat leaders like you. And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hello, send us an email at info@weretreatrnr.com. Follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all the latest updates. Until next time, remember, great retreats start with great intentions. Let's make them extraordinary, one step at a time. Thinking about hosting a retreat? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're really ready. Grab your free Are You Retreat Ready checklist and find out if you've got everything in place, from your purpose and pricing to your audience and agenda. Don't guess. Get clear. This quick checklist will show you exactly where you stand and what you need to make your retreat a success. Click the link below in the show notes to grab your gift and take the first step toward hosting with confidence.